Hi guys, VST here, I hope that everybody can hear me. If that's the case, please confirm, and we're going to start with the information that I obtained. Or let me know if you can hear me correct. Alright, I'm just gonna wait a bit to get more view on the stream. Okay, alright, Chris is here guys, so let's just wait a bit before we start. We have some exciting news brought to us by Chris on some of the recent developments and some of the recent leaks and rumors on, I think, mainly three topics. We're going to cover on the now much awaited Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra June update, which is, I think, very important, and really it's anticipated a lot. And then we have also some information about One UI 6.0. When we say One UI 6.0, guys, it's all about Android 14, right? And last but not least, we have also some information from Chris about the S24 Ultra, guys. Now, it's very important. I'm gonna make this disclaimer. It's also here inside the information that we get. Please take this all with a grain of salt. It is all like preliminary information, so it's based on rumors, it's based on leaks, and of course Samsung are the one controlling this, so they might as well change any of these. Let's say if that's a feature, maybe it will not come like this, or maybe even it's going to be skipped whatsoever. But okay guys, we are going to soon start the chat. I see we have two people at this, so it's myself, Chris. We have also Gitz is there, Bamo Bicho. So guys, Chris is also on the chat. He's able to provide more substantial information to those leaks, so I just want to thank Chris for sharing this. He's a member of the channel, by the way, so if you want to somehow help this channel grow, there is a membership you can go and check. Nothing really fancy, it's just a way to express the support. And without any further delay, guys, I'm gonna start with this. So first topic we want to cover is the June update. So we know Samsung is working really hard. They are trying to pull all the strings. Something very important, they will try to apply these aforementioned improvements not only in the photo but also in the video quality for the S23 series. Now we all know S23 series is a very successful one, not only because it has the Snapdragon Qualcomm Agent 2, and it has crazy functionality in terms of video, like this twice wider iOS and stabilization for video. This update also should triple down to the S22 series, because there are plenty of people using S22 as well, right? So only the features that are not supported in the hardware will be denied, which means if you have an S22 and it cannot do something, this update, probably features of this update will not apply to you. So if it's supported, of course, in hardware, then you're gonna get this, it's gonna be pushed down to you. And also Chris making the disclaimer, guys, if you're joining the live stream right now, just have in mind that right now at this stage, this is a rumor, so Samsung of course may decide to change all of that. So please take this with a grain of salt. And now let's focus. One of the big changes that are hopefully coming are these 2x improvements. Now according to what we have here from Chris, not only in photos, but also in videos, where we're going to use the 1x 200 megapixel sensor. That apparently is the HP2 ISO cell running on the S23 Ultra. By managing the native in-hardware support of the sensor for resolution management and in-sensor pixel binning and in-sensor zoom feature to achieve the best possible quality and details, altering the working parameters supported in hardware of the sensor. And you know about this story, there have been some leaks. There is something very similar to the Google Super Resolution, where you try to zoom in and then sometimes the algorithm will kick in. You have to go beyond 6 and below 10 to get it, depending really on the day or the night scenario. So this is zoom functionality concerned. This 2x really is very much anticipated. People really want to shoot portraits with using 2x. 1x is just too wide. 2x probably gonna be ideal, and we are still have to see if Samsung are going to implement it. Maybe yes. I think right now the level of certainty is quite high, as this has been also confirmed by some of the camera guys from the Samsung members on the Korean forum. Okay, Samsung S23 Ultra will see sizable improvement. Basically, all improvements will be limited on to hardware support. If the hardware can support it, guys, then you're gonna get it, which I think is really substantial, because right now the S22 Ultra, specifically the one with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, is still a crazy good deal for you to get. Like, get a flagship phone with this beautiful screen with the S Pen support, and the S22 Ultra right now even is able to surpass the S23 Ultra, guys, in terms of some scenarios. So only because it's so well optimized. Another important information, last time when we did this kind of leak session, we kind of had the information that the patch was circa 900 megabytes. Now it seems it's going to be around 1.5 gigabyte, which is already crazy in size. And if Chris wants to share something, Chris, please do it in the chat. And if you guys have any questions, you might as well put it in the chat. And even after the live stream, Chris is here on the channel, guys, he should be able to answer all this. Now we are approaching the One UI 6.0, which is very interesting, because it's going to come with Android 14. And you know, by the way, the Android 14 is already there. I think the 2 devs already, and very soon, hopefully, the first open beta is going to be there. In the very few next days, guys, I'm bringing a new device on the channel. I'm not sure, by the way, I'm just 100% not sure if the deal is going to be finalized, but if yes, hopefully in the very next few days I'm getting a Pixel 7a. I want to test the native Android 14 as long as One UI 6 is pushed for the S devices. So I'm going to always do this comparison, like stock Android 14 functionalities, things that only Google has and only the Pixel has, and then how is Samsung adopting them. Samsung, of course, right now are focusing their main effort on One UI 6. That's no secret, and they of course started to prepare for the S24 Ultra, and this is the sheer reality, guys. We get those devices every February, and then what it happens is at some point in time they already start looking for the next generation, and every year it's the next generation, by the way. So it's not like 6 years ago we have a model like iPhone 4 and then 4S, a small iteration. So S24 Ultra is right now much high on the Samsung radar, and of course this will come straight away with probably One UI 6.1, but I guess before this, hopefully later this year, when the first Android 14 is released, the stable one, we're also gonna get a One UI 6, and also probably get a chance to do the One UI 6 beta. So what is Pamo which is saying here? 1.5 gigabyte, hope that's worth. Well, let's see. I mean, right now this is not yet confirmed 100%, but if it's gonna be a huge patch for sure, and let's hope that they will at least introduce these 2 new things. So the one is this 2x, hopefully in photos and video, and the other one is has further somehow improved the zoom features, because we know that they have this secret, I even did a video like magic mechanism where they apply, and you know, the pictures get very crisp and sharp, but then we know that this doesn't kick in all the time. So guys, One UI 6.0, we have HDR10, that's apparently evolving into the Ultra HDR10. I guess Ultra HDR10, this is something that also Google is introducing now in the Android 14 and the latest Pixels. The difference is that the Ultra HDR will pick up more detail and preserves more details and better image sharpness due to the improved image processing compared to the current standard, which is the HDR10. The Ultra HDR10 can be properly displayed on every HDR10 display, which means hopefully this will trickle down to old models that support it. But okay, so for viewing that's gonna be probably much less okay, but Ultra HDR10 also can be properly shot on every HDR10 camera, which means if you have a device that can do HDR10, you probably be able to shoot and also view Ultra HDR10. We still have to see how Google want to implement that one, but I guess this is coming from there. So Ultra HDR is only a change in the algorithm of image processing, and it will be used in all phones which have hardware capable camera to take HDR10 photos. So hardware capable display, guys, to show HDR10 contents. So this means if you have an S22 or Plus or Ultra, so whole S22 series, all phones, of course S23 lineup, they will be part of the testing. Preparation for the S24 Ultra is where it's intended to fully shine. I guess that's clear. We have to somehow acknowledge this, that by the moment Samsung are ready to release their next flagship, they probably have almost fully optimized the current generation. Then every February we get the new one, and then we have to spend 5 months getting updates. It's a bit sad, but that's kind of it. Really a lot of features, right? So hopefully Samsung can somehow improve this in the future updates. So let's say we get a new device February, and then maybe April, May we already get like the best updates for it, and then only just some fine tuning. All supported phones which are able to take HDR10 photos and videos and display the HDR10 content on the HDR10 display, they should be able to handle Ultra HDR, so that's good. Also, guys, something very important. I know there is a lot of frustration around processing time, not so much, but around shutter lag. So even that Samsung introduced the camera assistant, you can go there and put priorities on quality. You can even optimize the shutter lag speed. It's still not what people want it to be, at least when they compare it with almost like zero shutter lag things, like using stock Google camera on a Pixel device, or even using some of these Chinese new phones like I have the Xiaomi 13 Ultra and the Oppo Find X, who are really able to snap pictures like in no time. So Samsung definitely should consider this, and one of the leaks is that they're really trying to even further improve the shutter lag. Now, I've read on the Korean forum, guys, they have some very strict guidelines on the pictures that should come out as an end product, so they will not really compromise, let's say, dropping the shutter lag with incorporating some crazy shutter speeds, or let's say something in the processing that eventually will allow you to do very quick photos, but they'll come out badly, or let's say not in focus. So Samsung cannot compromise with this, because of course, remember, they're really playing a competition against Apple. I mean, that's kind of the premium phones, and Samsung cannot afford themselves users to take really pictures that will come out crap. They'll give us the Pro mode, and in the Pro mode we can already achieve a very optimized shutter lag, but what we want to get is in this auto mode to also get this optimized, which is actually quite hard, guys, because we have the scene optimizer, and we have on top of the scene optimizer the option to turn on and off the auto HDR. So every time you press a picture, that's a computational photography, guys. So we have scene optimizer checking some things, correcting some things on top of this, and then we have also the auto HDR, so it will probably never be almost zero shutter lag. And I noticed, because right now, yesterday, if you've been following my channel, I bought a 17 years old full frame Canon EOS 5D DSLR, which is it's zero shutter lag most of the times, but it doesn't have all this AI stuff. It's really just purely, photography. Right, improved sensor crop for supported hardware. That's currently only for the S23 Ultra, maybe because of the size of the sensor. Inspected also in the S24 Ultra. I'm now also taking a look at the chat. Chris is saying shutter lag with Samsung is there because Samsung makes complex images. Absolutely, I fully agree. They make 9 photos and merge them in the final image you see as ready image. This needs time to do so. Absolutely. And when I was scraping the Samsung Korean members forum, that the camera bosses are there, they were saying that they have strict guidelines and strict principles on the output of, let's say, the standard stock camera, which even they put it there. I can probably show it in one of the other VSTCasts. They will not do any compromise with the photo quality that they expect, which means that they probably with this hardware can even go and achieve crazier and faster shutter speed, right, by changing even basic things, right, not only the processing, but they will not do so if they have not a guarantee that the pictures will come out right. Specifically, like also Bamo is saying, specifically on 200 megapixel photos. Absolutely. So let's just see the further good stuff, guys. All night time capabilities, zoom capabilities, low light, ultra HDR, low shutter lag will be natively supported for social media. I think that's important for most of you guys. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Messenger, Snapchat. They are even right now, I think one of the camera mod guys confirmed that he's in direct contact with the guys with the Snapchat team working to introduce this. This been a problem for some of these so-called influencers, that they don't have like native camera quality when they're shooting with the front cam or the back cam on their social apps, even though, let's say, for Instagram, I recently learned that the pixels are really like 1 megapixel, so apparently that should not be a big problem. But anyway, Samsung want to improve on this one. Better graphics, better colors, and better performance in games and graphic content applications, graphic and image content creation, camera photos, videos, and Lightroom included, by utilizing existing hardware. Now that's a big thing. If you are shooting raw photos, guys, you can directly go use Lightroom, change most of the basic settings, play with the highlights, with the shadows, adjust the auto white balance. That already works, but it has been said that it's gonna be even better, guys, in the S24 Ultra. So S23 Ultra, you'll of course see noticeable effect improvement, a bit less on the S22 Ultra, right? It really depends on the hardware. Now you all know that that's not only like we have the ISO cell HP2, which is the sensor. There is also the so-called imaging imaging processor, right, in the Gen 2 and etc. So the imaging processor is also important. Like imagine the Oppo Find X6 Pro has the Silicon like dedicated chip to really help with photos and with videos. Okay. Hard Games, thanks for joining this live stream where we're sharing some information about the S23 Ultra, upcoming June camera update, and the future of One UI 6, 0 and the S24 Ultra. So about the older phones, so that's important, guys. If you own the S22, I will probably say that you can skip the next 2 to 3 years. So S23 you can skip, probably S24 you can skip, especially if you own the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 version. But the Exynos 2200 was not so bad compared to what you've seen previously, right? So usually if you're a normal user, you buy an S device, you pay €1,000, guys, you should at least be able to use it for the next 3 years. Some users probably even more. Right, so unless you're not doing things that I do, like evolved into content creation where you need to switch phones and test them, you should be really relying on your phone. And we know Samsung are promising 5 years security updates, 3 years also updates, and all these new features, guys, that even will land on S24 Ultra. Hopefully some of them will also come and trickle down to the S22. So most of these features will be pushed to the older phones, of course, only if the hardware support is there to secure the proper operation of these features. So if you have this phone, S22 Ultra, and the hardware is good enough, then Samsung will also put, like, just think of the cutouts. If you have right now an S22 Ultra, you can just take out the phone, go in your gallery, guys, and cut out pictures out of it. So you see, they're trying. So with this move, Samsung is trying to make a decent response to the Chinese camera development. This here is huge, by the way. I'm not sure if people really underestimate it somehow, but all these Chinese phones using the Sony IMX 989 now for at least two generation phones, like the Vivo X90 Plus Pro and now the X6 Pro, Xiaomi Ultra. The cameras are very good, guys, and of course Samsung needs to somehow respond to this. They don't have a lot of options, by the way, just physically, from what I've seen when people are like opening those phones like Jerry Week, because of the S Pen there and the battery size and the periscope system. It's very hard to feed, let's say, a proper 1-inch sensor right now until they change somehow the design of the periscope, or let's say they put a continuous zoom, which is used in some of the Sony Xperia phones, or let's say they decide to drop the ultra wide, which I don't think is going to happen. So Samsung is feeling already the heat from the Chinese camera development, right? And they of course need a decent response. That's one of the reasons that I think is driving this. The other thing is the Apple advancements. So we know Apple rarely makes steps. Steps are small but meaningful. Now think of it, we can shoot 200 megapixels with the S23 Ultra, which is probably an overkill. People call it gimmick. I know it's not a gimmick, right? Because I've been shooting sometimes on 20 megapixels. There is just not a lot of use cases where I would use it, but the information is there. Else it's all pixel binning, and the end result that we get are of course not 200 megapixel. But the thing is, guys, that even if we take the very latest Apple iPhone 14 Pro Max, which is now, let's say, the top spec from Apple, they are only shooting 48 megapixels, and there is a very good reason for this. This is what Chris here is saying. Apple will not make a huge step, a huge iteration, unless it's not been tested first by the Chinese vendors or OEMs, it's not been reconfirmed by Samsung, and then only will Apple put it there, because they want to really play on a safe card. But I can tell you guys, I have the iPhone 14 Pro. Apple are really now falling behind on the photos quality, right? That's for sure. On many other stuff like performance, even don't want to go there. What is very important is that they somehow yet still have one of the best stable video footages, which is still the case. You know, can shoot Dolby Vision, all of this, but they are also probably feeling the heat. So Samsung promises 5 years of software support, 4 years of new Android versions, and a 5th year is patching the last version of the Android for the S series. What is Chris saying? So this is really good. I mean, if you really want to spend like top money on an S device, you should be at least using it for 2 to 3 years financially to just make sense, unless of course you're not throwing money out of the balcony. And what also Chris is mentioning, the camera updates in June will not be a regular upgrade. It will be a deep reworking and deep optimization of the cameras, and I think this is really very, very important, guys, because eventually the S23 Ultra will hopefully take this update and shine once and for all. And I can tell you, I've been using the Oppo Find X6 Pro, I've been using the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. I sold the Oppo, by the way, I kept the Xiaomi. The S23 Ultra camera is still like the best all-around camera that you can rely to get decent night photos, great photos during the day, amazing portraits, and also like awesome video. So this probably will be my top choice, right? I cannot lie, I'm really in love with 1-inch sensor. It's very snappy. Can give you an example. If you shoot a night scene with Samsung, we're gonna need like 9 seconds of exposure. You do the same for 2 seconds on a 1-inch sensor, which is actually quite good. And Samsung really will have to try to push a bit more to have a proper reaction to all of this. I think with that said, I'm going to recap the live stream, guys. I really hope that this was beneficial for you. I want to thank Chris one more time for compiling all of this. So let's end on a positive note here. Samsung is trying really hard to use the most of the existing hardware and the existing phones, and yeah, let's just hope that they will be able to even bring more goodies. I think right now they're doing a good job, specifically with Gen 2 and with the recent camera and with the sensor. So let's hope that it's gonna be even more amazing in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you have to take away one thing from all of this, it's just take away the last sentence from Chris that he put in the chat, that the camera updates will not be a regular upgrade. They really should be deep reworking. They should bring deep optimizations and hopefully even better photos for all the S owners. Thank you so much guys for watching. Stay safe. VST over and bye.